Audio on Instagram, Twitter and Instagram, whatever. And yeah, his entire page is just dedicated to being cool, being an alpha male, and putting down women while trying to convince everybody how cool he is. But babe, we can see you. We can see you with our eyes. So in the comments section,
Hey, what's up, guys? Another episode of the Nuke Stream. Um, Welcome again. Another Sunday night where we kind of trade notes. We talk about anything relevant that'll help us in our dating journey to find love, more plates, or just peace in general, or chaos, whatever you guys like. I don't know, it's up to you. But we have the tools to get you there. Today's topic is going to be about Briefold's Law and its misconceptions, the arguments against it, and really how important it is in order to understand women to get over so many of what other men struggle with in terms of female behavior and all that stuff. Um, if there's any law of human behavior or in the animal kingdom that you should probably pay a little bit of attention to, right? It should be Briefold's Law. Briefold's Law is essentially the most important, if not the most important, anthropological, I don't know if I'm saying that right, kind of law in terms of human behavior and the sexes, because it essentially tells you what we've all been kind of noticing, but this behavior or this law is in direct conflict with our programming as kids and as adults. And it's hard because even men that are unplugging, even men that are becoming red pilled, even men that have been red pilled for a while, they see this. It's like one of the darkest parts of female nature if you start viewing it with that lens, because you're just like, well, women can be selfish, women can do always what's best for them, and men still have to step up and sacrifice and be selfless, and because we are the disposable gender. So, what is Briefold's law? And Briefold's law is simply essentially this. It was proposed by Robert Briffault in 1931 in his book called The Mothers, and it states that the female, not the male, determines all the conditions of the animal family. Where the female can derive no benefit from associating with the male, no such association takes place. In essence, it suggests that females control mating and social relationships in animal groups, including humans, and will only engage with males when there is a clear benefit to them. Now, you've heard the kind of the adage, women control access to sex and men control access to relationships. And that was like Kevin Samuels like saying that, several, kind of the more broad and maybe mistaken manosphere consecrators say that. But I and us, more of the kind of, I want to say, higher IQ guys, or guys that like actually think about this stuff instead of just spouting off what sounds nice. We say, hey, women control access to both. And that is based on Briefold's law. Now you may be asking, wouldn't a relationship with me be the best thing possible for a woman after we have sex, right? She's giving me sex. Now I got to fight her off because I am so amazing that now I control the pace and the access to a relationship, which is, which involves you investing comfort, parental investment, resources, a house, a car, just time. paying for dates, whatever. Guys think that women in general, after they have sex with them, women are going to be fighting to stay in your life, and they could not be more wrong. Um, Guys who date spin plates quickly realize, hey, um, I don't see these women kind of fighting to be in their life besides, and even if it's sex, they're not like absolutely desperate to see me again. Now, are there going to be women that you may have, rearranged your guts really well, or you are a combination of certain behaviors and looks that really do it for her? And she may be a little crazy about you, at least in the beginning. And the answer is yes, of course. There's always going to be women like that. Sometimes you look like her ex, sometimes you just hit it right, or sometimes you say the right thing, whatever it is, right? It could be intentional. Maybe you meant to uh, have sex with her or treat her a certain way that made her really attracted to you, right? But for the most part, most women do not want to be in relationships. And a lot of guys say that no, that's false. It's some will say that's disempowering to men. Some will say then what the hell is our even purpose? And guys, I really want you to just think in terms of Briefold's law. Really stop thinking and projecting your morality, your ego, your biological reality onto women and put yourself in their shoes for a second. And I know that's hard, but think you have sex with a guy based on the fact that he said the right thing at the right time, aka game. Uh, you thought he was attractive. Physically, he did it for you. He had some kind of status, or he made you jealous enough with your friend that whatever. Women have multiple reasons they have sex with men and all that. And now on the man's side, you think, "Oh, I had sex with this girl." You even get worried, like, "I'm gonna have to be fighting her off because she wants commitment, blah, blah, blah. Man, I shouldn't have done it." But you realize, like, she's not really that committed to you. She just, "Hey, let me know when you wanna see me again," or you guys can have, like, a soft agreement that it's casual or something. So, when it comes to these situations, right? As a woman, is there anything, and let's be honest with ourselves, guys, is there anything you can provide women that they cannot provide themselves, right? Think about that. And a lot of guys will be like, well, what about love, companionship? I'm just like, those are abstractions. Everyone has their own definition of love. Everyone has their own definition of companionship. Women are not hurting for friends or people that give a shit about them. As a matter of fact, every day the duties that were supposed to be for your father or for her father, sorry, or for you to do as her husband are being outsourced to betas, to simpy men, to guys that have taken upon themselves to protect women around them and all that stuff, right? Um, so what does that leave you? And that's what I'm saying, guys. Like, why would a woman fight to be in your life if she has all those beta things taken care of, right? And here's the problem with this, oh, women control access to relationships, mumbo jumbo. Sorry, men control access to relationships, mumbo jumbo, is that everything you can provide in a relationship, she could get outside of you and for less of a cost, right? Does she need somebody to help her move? Yeah, well, there's men and her friends' boyfriends and brothers and a guy that's, in love with her or something can all do those things, and they'll be there like a military unit ready to help her do that. She has car trouble, she can call a mechanic. She can call her friend that's a mechanic, a guy that she banged 6 months ago that's a mechanic, her brother, her father, a simpy guy that knows about cars, whatever, right? She doesn't need to go, I wish I had a boyfriend to take care of this. She goes, which man is available at this time? She has a phone. And this hurts guys because if there's anything men are addicted to in 2025 is sacrificing for others and doing stuff for others in return for something. And that's not how women are. So I know it sounds kind of like jarring and sad to a lot of guys, but women do not need us for anything. So anytime a woman is with you beyond sex, it's because she chose based on her decision. And that ultimately leads us to the adage or the mental model, the relationship is her problem. And this is what frees you guys. Everything about Briefold's Law may seem grim, it may terrify you, it may make you lose hope, but at the same time, it is liberating. You in the past had a duty to society. You couldn't just go out and bang 20 chicks and then until you find the right one that you like, right? You had to get with what there was. And you had to ask her father for hand in marriage. You had to work really hard. You probably had to deal with her you couldn't just divorce easily because societal pressure and all that stuff. And maybe some laws, depending on what country you're in or state. So at at some point, guys, you're going to have to come to terms with the fact that no amount of money, women don't need anything from you except being attractive, just being hot. Anything beyond that is up to her. If she wants to stay an extra day with you, sure. If she wants it to be a one night stand, that's whatever. If she wants to marry you, the only power you have here is opting in, is being like, "Oh, you present a relationship to me? Sure." And really, that's Brieffoot's law when it comes to your dating life. In a nutshell, is hey, what a woman will uh hook up with you, and then men will be like, "Oh man, this is I can't like I want her to be my girlfriend." They'll start doing boyfriend stuff, whatever, blah blah. And the thing is, if you guys look at the big picture, even if she's a single mom, there's men that will be happy to take up the mantle of stepdad and fight to be in her life. We've all seen it. If she's fat, there's still gonna be men fighting to give her free stuff. If she's a hoe, if she's not a hoe, if she's a like look at the traditional conservative women, right? A lot of them didn't have good past. A lot of them had literal nudes on the internet. Hell, there's women that I know to this day that I used to text with that have more followers than me that I've seen naked. And even if those nudes got out, even if her reputation was destroyed, there'll still be plenty of men that will do anything not only to give her free stuff, but to fix her reputation, defend her, and call me an asshole if I ever shared something like that. Right? Like essentially, we don't have anything to offer on the beta buck side. Or you do, but we're gonna get to that. However, in the beginning, leading with money, even if it's millions of dollars or $1 or a $1 McChicken from McDonald's. That action will always be the beta bucks side of hypergamy. You cannot change women's programming. And we can get into that too. But essentially, guys, that's Brieffoot's law. Again, women do not need our consensus as men to do what's best for them. And think about it like this: women did not change. Women simply looked around and said, okay, we have birth control now. What do we do to win? To get the upper hand, to get in front of, to get resources with minimal effort. Oh, okay, we got credit cards now. What can we do next? Oh, okay, we have no fault divorce. How do we at every step of women's liberation, women have never said, hey ladies, let's just chill. You know, let's uh let's not use our powers for evil. Let's our our newfound rights and power for evil. It's they've always said, "What's in it for me? How do I use this to my advantage?" And essentially, um, that's Brieffoot's law. And guys hate that because Brieffoot's law essentially kind of makes men face the mirror, and the mirror is that women and men are different. Women do not care about your morals. Men, especially Christian men, keep projecting their morals onto women, whether it be an 18-year-old girl that's pure virgin or a 40-year-old woman that's lived a long life of sleeping around and all that stuff. Both of those women are the same in that within the context of their environment, and they will do what's best for them. Now, you may think sometimes what's best for them is also what's best for men. I'm like, yeah, because it aligns. But it's always first women first, and then, oh, it just so happens to benefit men. Then it's a double benefit because now men perceive her, oh, she's on our side. And that's the traditional conservative e-girls, right? Oh, it benefits men when women are chaste, right? In their head. It doesn't really benefit men, but when men see a chaste woman, or at least that's her brand, it in our minds as men, oh, she's teaching and putting out the message that this is the right way to be. Thus, it will help me in the future secure a legacy because I know if a woman's not slutty, that's my kid. So, but in her mind, she has convinced herself, "No, I'm just on team man," but no, she's still on team her. The problem is that if tomorrow being traditional conservative made you broke, canceled, and treated like crap, then they would switch, right? And that's why we say, "Hey, women don't really have um, politics. They just do what's best for them." If they live in a Republican state and everyone around them is Republican, them being Democrat probably isn't a good idea because they don't want to get ousted or treated differently by their family. And vice versa, if women is a Republican, yet she lives or is in a system that rewards liberalism, then she will morph or change the definition of republicanism to benefit her. An example of this is there's multiple Republican women, right, that believe we should forgive women like that did OnlyFans, like, and accept them in the church as normal women and let them, preach the word of God. They're changing the definition to fit them because it benefits them. They don't change definition. They're not fighting for us to have custody of our kids. They're not fighting for to stop abortion. They're not, you know. What they're really fighting for is themselves. No matter what, women will always put themselves first. So, yeah, exactly. Man, I don't know. I'm gonna say Todd M. Let's stop increasing our lead in the game has never been said by women exactly. They're not going to stop and be like, wait, what do men think? We gotta help men out. Never. Never, never, never. So once you internalize Briefold's law, everything women do in your personal life, online, everything, you see it through that lens where it's like, hey, women will do everything they can to benefit themselves. I don't be fooled just because something they do benefits you too. It just means that in this instance, it also benefited you, but it always will benefit her first. And that will explain so much. This is why they hate the red pill. This is why women hate the red pill. That's why they use shaming language. We're incels. We're angry. We're black pilled. We're sexless. And the men that want to win over women say the same because we call it like it is. Hey, women aren't really out here for men. They're not, right? Because we wouldn't be in this mess right now. Women are out for themselves. So that may align more often than not. That's great. But most of the time, it aligns not to your best interests. As you know, the sexes, their sexual strategies are at odds with each other, they're antagonistic. Men want unlimited access to unlimited sexuality, meaning we want to spin plates forever if we could, right? With brief breaks or maybe a serious relationship, but still have women in the wings, right? That is men's optimal sexual strategy. For women, it's getting the best we can. Those two strategies do not mesh well. So, what we did in the past was marriage. Marriage is like, hey, both of us will let go of our sexual strategies. Men will stop sleeping around and sleep with one woman, and women will stop seeking the best man she can get and build and invest in a guy's potential, which is basically the opposite of hypergamy almost, from a young age. And this is why, guys, marriage doesn't work anymore. It's because of Briefold's law. It's because women will say they want to get married, they want to be in relationships, but they don't. It's the easiest thing. Um, The easiest thing in the world, guys, the easiest thing in the world is for a woman to get into a relationship. How many times have we seen on Facebook, Instagram, a woman that's like 29, 30, and she's been single for so long, 4 years, and all of a sudden 29 or 30 hits and boom, engaged or pregnant. Boom, out of the blue. It's because she got humbled by Father Time, and she said, "Well, you'll do. This guy right here, you'll do." And that's it, right? That's it. Um, but for the most part, women if women wanted to be in relationships, they would. Why? Because Briefold's law states if something is beneficial to women, they'll do it as long as it does right. And you may think, well, there's things that seem beneficial to women, but they don't do it. Well, you're looking at it again through your male view. Like, for example, marriage. Hey, marriage is good for women. What are you talking about? Like, no, you think marriage is good for women because in your mind, you believe your sexual strategy is locking down a woman for life and giving her love and commitment in return for what, guys? Sex, intimacy, and securing a legacy, right? At its bare bones. So that is your sexual strategy is to lock down a woman with a formal commitment, use shame from the Bible and from her family for her to act right. That is a sexual strategy, right? That is not the best sexual strategy, but it is the operative one that men use today. And men project that onto women, and they're like, I want a woman with good values. Women don't have values, right? Women have, there's things I can't do because I don't want to get ostracized, and there's just things I can do. That's it. That's all there is. And when you see that, it may take time for some men to accept this. Not even the most Christian, awesome female content creator or girl in your real life is ever going to look the same to you. You're going to be like, wow, they're really in it for themselves. I'm like, yeah, as they should be. So, yeah, let's take a quick break, guys. If you would like to super chat, I appreciate it. Let's take a quick break. All right, guys, cool. Um, all right, so Briefold's law, it's important. Now that we kind of established what Briefold's law is, how it is in our dating and relationships and all that stuff, and why some men have a lot of trouble understanding it. Let's move on to okay. There's two corollary. I never knew, even in college, I couldn't say this word. Corollaries. Corollaries. There you go. I said it right. So, okay, there's two or three corollaries, right? Um, corollary number one: past benefits provided by the male do not provide for continued or future association. Okay, now this one men really complain about because in relationships where men say, oh, like a woman will say, hey, you never take me out to dinner, or we never do this, we never do anything fun. And a lot of guys have had this experience where like we literally went to dinner on Sunday and it's Wednesday or Thursday. We literally went out and guys scratching their head. And that's where the phrase, the boomerism is like, women will never be happy, right? And they say that because again, they have projected their maleness, right? If I do something nice for one of you guys, you'll never forget it, right? Men have an internal honor system, right? It benefits us to have an honor system because we rely on each other for survival. So we need to understand that, hey, I can trust you. If I save your life, you'll save my life. If I give you a piece of bread to survive in the wild, you'll do it for me. So we have this honor system, right, to help us survive. It's still within us to this day in modern day age. Now, men want to project this honor system onto women. So if I do something nice for Todd, if I take Todd out to dinner, hey, dude, let's go to dinner and my treat, whatever. Todd is never going to forget that. Yes, there's some men that are like, unappreciative and all that, but Todd's never going to forget that. If I take my wife, who I'm married for 10 years, out for dinner on Sunday, right? Unless she is absolutely head over heels, like everything I do is, and there are relationships where the woman is absolutely like goo goo gaga over the guy, right? After 10 years, it happens. But for most relationships, for normie relationship, non-red pill ones, right? Where the guy's not red pilled. Um, the guy will scratch his head and be like, "Wait, we just went out Sunday. Why are you complaining that I never do X?" Right? And that's because men think that because you did something recently for a woman, there's like a carryover period or a lasting effect of appreciativeness, right? Of gratitude for that thing you did yesterday or last week or last month, right? And that's crazy. And that's guys should understand that when you're constantly trying to win over women in your life, whether it be a casual plate or your wife, with giving them things and doing nice things for them, because those things do not stack, right? Giving a woman flowers doesn't make her appreciative that you gave her flowers. It makes her feel yay for like a couple hours. And then the next day, completely erased, right? And that is corollary number one for Briefold's law. So, yeah. All right, corollary number two. Any agreement where the male provides a current benefit in return for a promise of future association is null and void as soon as the male has provided the benefit. See corollary number one. Okay, so in terms of your dating life, this is the guys that go to dinner. This is the guys that pay for expensive nights out with women that they barely know. And then they're like, in their head, they have convinced themselves, like, if I do this for women, this is a covert contract. If I take a woman to a nice dinner better than her other suitors, she won't have sex with me, or at least give me access. And here's the thing: the way women work is that women are constantly promising you future intimacy in order for things that you need to give them now. And in the instance of this dating example, women will be like, "Yeah, but you need to take me to dinner. You need to take me out on a date before we do anything, a nice date." So you do the date, and once the food enters her mouth, contract is over. She has gotten what she wanted, and she's gonna not give you sex. Are there exceptions? Yes, very rare. But for the most part, done. And that's why we don't say go on dinner dates, because you're spending lots of money. There's not a lot of like things you can do on a dinner date besides eat and stare at each other. And also, deal's done. The moment the food hits her mouth, she's like, "Okay, cool. I got what I wanted. There's no reason um to be here." And that's why guys get so bitter and burnt, because again, they're projecting their male sense of honor and decency onto women. Completely different thing. You can see this at a larger scale, where women on the internet will shame you for being a certain way. Hey, if you do this, women will marry you. They think they speak for all women. Like, oh, if you're understanding, if you're Christian, if you work hard, if you're taller, if you're this, if you're that, I will sleep with you, right? Or imply intimacy or securing of your legacy, right? You see this all the time. The reason the birth rate is falling is because men ain't shit, right? So that is Briefold's law saying, hey, men, work harder and be better betas, give us more stuff and protect us more in return for nothing, right? And we'll have your babies. And then men, especially traditional men and clueless men, will be like, men need to stand up. So I get it, ladies. There's just not enough of us, not enough good, hardworking men. We've all given up, blah, blah, blah. And ultimately, guys, ultimately, yeah, like Todd's saying, if you go to therapy or something like that, ultimately, guys, um, there is a concerted effort to get you back on the plantation and back to working and being a plow horse or a slave to women's desires or what women want. It's constant, to the point where men give up. And when I say give up, I don't mean like they're giving up. I'm just saying like stop dating. They've stopped um going out, social lives. There's an article recently that Gen Z doesn't drink anymore. Drinking's down is the People drink less than they've ever drank before. Um so on and so forth. And what does that tell you? All that tells you is that men have caught on to Briefold's law. They have caught on to corollary number two. And corollary number two says, hey, Um, again, any agreement where the male provides a current benefit in return for a promised future association, not even sex, just association, just, hey, do you want to go on a second date? Uh, is null and void as soon as the male has provided the benefit. right? So a lot of men caught on to this. They're like, "Hey, I've been going on dates," and yes, of course, most men don't aren't attractive as enough. Most men are clueless, don't know how to talk to women, and that's what we're here for. But in a general sense, um, men caught on to this and just like, "Hey, it's not worth it because every time I go out with women, um, future association null and void. She got what she wanted. Like you know, the benefit was dating. The benefit was my resources, my time, my affection, whatever, and I've got nothing. So I've caught on, right? Because once a woman meets me, gets her free drinks and dinner, what's her purpose for staying, right? Yeah, yeah, it is a great strategy for women. Um, it is. And then, guys, corollary number three: uh, a promise of a future benefit has limited influence on current future association, with the influence inversely proportionate to the length of time until the benefit will be given, and directly proportionate to the degree to which the female trusts the male. Let me read that again. This one's a little confusing. A promise for a future benefit has limited influence on current future association, with the influence inversely proportionate to the length of time until the benefit will be given, and directly proportionate to the degree to which the female trusts the male. Okay, so this one is basically saying it's the Chris Rock joke, right? Remember when Chris Rock said that most women will not leave you if you lose your job, right? Which women benefit. Like it's their lifestyles caught up in how you make money. Um, most women will not leave if you lose your job. Like they won't leave the next day. Some women will, if they do, it's because they are looking for an out and they found one, right? But most women will not. However, the the clock is ticking, right? And that's, the inverse relationship with a proportion to the length of time until a benefit will be given, and directly proportion to the degree to which the female trusts the male. So, for example, if you're an alpha and you're a badass or whatever your version of that is in your head, every guy has their own version, right? I guess. Uh, and you figured it out when you were 20, you figured it out when you were 28, you figured it out when you were 33, all the times things didn't go well, shit went down the toilet, blah blah blah. You figured it out multiple times, right? She's going to trust you that you'll always figure it out, that you've always had a plan, right? So, because of this, she will give you more time to figure it out next time because she trusts you that hey, he's he's figured sorry, he's figured it out before, so he'll figure it out again, right? And that's ultimately um ultimately the the explanation corollary number three. It's a little confusing, right? Basically, it's just saying, hey, if things went south, if I couldn't provide you the benefit that made you associate with me in the first place, um, me promising you, hey babe, I'll figure this out, or hey babe, the sex will get better, or hey babe, um, I'm out of town, I can't have sex with you. Whatever benefit she gets, the association, all that stuff, right? She will ultimately she'll give you some time, but um you don't have forever, right? And that's and that's the reason why we spin plates is because these things happen, right? We spin plates because women abide by Briefold's law, meaning that you can give her sex and then a week later you got caught up. It's been 10 days. She wants sex and another guy that's hotter or different or more beta, more alpha, whatever, um, comes in, gives her sex. She's like, this guy makes me wait 10 days at a time and I'm getting exactly what I want with this guy. So I'm going to slowly move away from this guy. And then I'll maybe hit him up in a month if this guy doesn't work out or whatever. Uh, and that's it, guys, right? Her benefit from you was sex, and you got busy, you couldn't have sex with her. She didn't stay and wait because she's like, okay, like my benefit, he can promise me he'll see me in 2 weeks, but even if I say, yeah, I'll wait, that doesn't mean I'm gonna actually wait because I can get this benefit from somebody else. Right. And that, again, that's corollary number three. It's based on time. It's like a time dependent version of the core other corollaries and all that stuff. Hey, we got a 199 super chat from Frequency Moss. You get one of these, sir?
Jesus answered, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. $6 shrimp special!
All right, Frequency Moss with a 199. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of your own happiness. Correct. And we're gonna get into that. We're gonna go now that we know how women operate, we're gonna get into soon here, like how can this benefit you? Or how do we use it to our advantage? Guys, because this is a channel based on solutions, not based on hey, complaining and all that stuff. Yeah, women always reserve the right to change their mind, right? And that's one of the funny enough, that's one of your one of your bill of rights for establishing boundaries. Your assertive bill of rights. So exactly. Essentially, the more she trusts you and the sooner the promise of benefits will be fulfilled, the more likely she's willing to wait. Exactly. And that is why back in the day, women waited for men to become successful, to return from deployment, to get that job offer, to follow you all over the world for a better life. Because in the past, she didn't have a lot of options, right? Yes, she could have waited for another guy or another successful guy, but now women have so many options that they don't need to wait for guys. They don't. They don't need to wait for guys. You could be like, and this happened to me. I found a girl that I really liked in 2018. 2018? Yeah. We dated long distance and she was head over heels. Let me keep this up. She was head over heels, sorry, for me. And she saw that, hey, I was still spinning plates. We weren't official, but it was a long distance relationship. So, I wasn't gonna stop sleeping with, and she didn't tell me it bothered her. She just said, hey, she found some evidence that I was sleeping with other women, and we ignored it, but it kind of made up her mind. And then I got out of the Navy, and this is what I told her, right? I said, I need a little time to figure out my life because I just got out of the military. I got some good job offers, but I don't know exactly where I'm going to land. Not yet. Give me a month or two. A month or two. I already had job offers and I was already about to do interviews for data centers in the area, which pay well. But she said, no, I can't wait. So that's essentially it, guys. She didn't want to wait, right? And that's basically it. That's Briefold's law in action in that moment. She is like, hey, I don't have time to wait around. I'm going to do what benefits me now because I don't trust you enough because you haven't given me also enough comfort for me to feel like you've got this figured out yet. And I understand, like looking back, that is just female nature. It's not personal. It's just her watching out for herself. Was it a dumb decision? I think so because the next guy was like a short, virgin Iranian guy, and she was this very curvy, voluptuous Puerto Rican girl. So it made no sense. But hey, cool. Yeah, and the thing is, like, I know that's an exaggeration, Todd, to think like this, but you gotta understand, it's not that it's true or not. What matters is that women believe it. And due to their solipsism, the outside programming from pro woman content and boss girl content, and feeling that men are superfluous because they make their own money, they don't feel like life is safe, they don't feel like men have to protect them for anything, or they have men to lift heavy things for them at the whim. They feel like, oh, I got time, I have no pressure in a relationship because I don't need a man. So yeah. Yeah, it's what they think is possible. It's the perception for them. And that's what guys don't understand. You're gonna be lonely, you're not gonna be like they don't think like that, right? They think that what the attention and opportunities with men they have now, they're gonna have for 15 years. And the truth is a woman's 18 to 30 is 15% of a woman's life. And they think they're gonna live that 15% for the rest of their life until they're maybe like 60 or something. So yeah. Yeah, friendly reminder, don't black pill. Yeah, it sounds like a black pill, but don't worry. There is a way to defeat or at least work with Briefold's law and women's nature. There is, but yeah, let's It's we're gonna tackle some arguments against because of course anything that makes women look bad um is going to be uh what do you call it? Anything that makes women look bad is going to be defended against or covered up by psychology, politics, just general discussions on the internet. Remember, women are not allowed to be made look bad as a whole. There's always has to be some kind of reason they're that way, and it's men's fault. So there are always going to be things to contest against if it makes women look bad or not flattering, right? So, thanks, Todd. You are cooking tonight. Thanks, man. You get one of these.
Thank you so much, best friend.
Todd M7 with the $5. You are cooking tonight, Nuke. Thank you, sir. I try my best. These are one of the most technical red pill. I see you guys really enjoy the technical red pill stuff. I try to keep it more dating centric, but if you guys would like more of this stuff, let me know because I also am very knowledgeable on this stuff. So I could talk about red pill topics all day, but I also like talking about the face to face with women too. But appreciate it, Todd. Hopefully all this puts things in perspective or is a reminder of how to view women and what lens to view them with for even for myself, you know. So give me 1 second, guys. All right, and we're back. More technical breakdowns. Okay, I guess from now on, for a couple, maybe for a couple weeks, I'll do the dating Q&A during the week. If you guys are around, if you guys want to contribute to the other followers or just hang out, talk about nothing, and then maybe on Sundays I'll do more for test it out, more red pill like deep dives and stuff like this, like this. So okay, we gotta grab a little bit of tea. All right, guys. So Briefold's law. Let's go to arguments against Briefold's law. So according to Grok, arguments against applying Briefold's law to humans often focus on its oversimplification of complex social and behavioral dynamics. While the law as proposed by Robert Briefold emphasizes female control over mating and social relationships based on perceived benefits, critics argue it doesn't fully account for the nuances of human behavior. Here are some key arguments against its application in humans. Mutual benefit in relationships. It says this, and there's 7. Holy crap! So I try to go through these as fast as possible. I don't want you guys to like, kind of like check out or anything. Human relationships often involve mutual benefits, not just female-driven selection. Men and women both make choices based on emotional, social, practical factors such as love, companionship, shared goals, and mutual support, which Briefold's law overlooks by focusing solely on female benefit. Now, this is the part where, like, again, the the whole of discussion, anything that makes women look a little bit less flattering, they're going to say, but men too, right? So, hey, men get benefits from relationships, right? Not really. There is a reason OnlyFans girl exists. It's because that's Briefold's law in action. Men are not the same as women. Women are not going to pay for men's attention ever, right? And if it is, it's like a freak thing which is going to go viral and all that stuff. Men pay for women's attention, and women get to decide what the extent of they're going to give a man, never the other way around. Um, so again, remember that adage where we say, "Hey, men love idealistically, and women love opportunistically." That is first. We debunked it. Yes, is there benefits from women dating men? Sorry, that men get from dating women. Of course, there's sex, and when I say sex, I mean like that is the bare minimum. Companionship, but like that's an abstraction. Companionship meaning that someone to do something with, right? Intimacy, like hey, I get to share pretty cool moments of my life with someone. That and also you guys assign that value, and that's the part of number one, the number one contesting of the Briffault's law, is that they keep putting it into the context that all men need love to survive. I'm like, no, you yourself, you the individual get to put importance or relegate it and importance on these things. For you, love may be a useless emotion. Like, yeah, love, whatever. Cool. Is she gonna cook for me? Is she likable? Is she gonna help me out in life? Cool. That's you as a man. For you, love is everything. Like, hey, I want to love, I just want to be careful. So yes, I do perceive a woman loving me as 100% a fair exchange. So uh that's the way we contest number one, is that the man decides the value of what he's getting in a relationship, not else anything but him, right? So cultural and social influences, human behavior. This is the second one. Human behavior is heavily shaped by culture, norms, individual values, which vary widely across societies and history. Briffault's law, rooted in animal behavior, doesn't adequately account for these complexities, such as egalitarian relationships, personal agency, or societal pressures that influence both genders' decisions. Okay, so basically it's like, hey, there's certain societal conventions that defeat biology, right? Like egalitarian relationships, aka open on my end, open on your end. Now, we all know that's a really tough freaking sell to the average person, for average men. Here's the difference for these egalitarian relationships: it plays the equality card and tries to make you feel like men and women are the same, obviously, and that if a woman sleeping around is the same as a man sleeping around. So if I have a body count of 50 and she has a body count of 50, we're on the same playing field. I'm like, no. Even like I don't care about body count, right? But even I must admit, right, that if a woman has the same body count I have today, my real body count, she would probably be a little bit crazy. She would probably either be a very old porn star chick, or she would probably be someone that men like so little that they can only handle her for like a week before getting dumped, right? I'd have to assume something if she ever told me or was honest about her body count. And that's not the same. That's not egalitarian, right? There's so few things in a relationship. Also, egalitarian relationships go against what? Hypergamy, meaning that, hey, men and women do not look up to men that are their equal. You need to have something over her. And usually it's the basics like strength, height, um, experience, age, and then money as well. So I don't know about you guys. Women aren't taking me out on dates. They aren't asking me out. They aren't paying for my stuff. You know, taller women than me aren't approaching me. Nothing. So egalitarian, that's a pipe dream. The other one is personal agency or societal pressures that influence both genders' decisions. Societal pressures is exactly fits very neatly into Briefold's law, because if you're a woman living in the 70s and being and sleeping with two men in your town will fuck you over in the long run, you're doing what's best for you. You're associating with men in a way that benefits you. You know that if you do the wrong thing in this context, your ass is on the line. So you don't do it. It's still Briefold's law. It's still women watching out what's best for them. So debunked. Um, Male agency. So this is the third contesting of Briefold's law. Male agency and selection. The law downplays male agency in choosing partners or maintaining relationships. Men also evaluate potential partners based on benefits, emotional compatibility, physical attraction, or shared values. And many relationships persist without clear benefits to either party in a transactional sense. Okay, so this one is saying that men, we have control over who we date. So um, we also that kind of is a argument against Briffault's law. Here's the truth, guys. Most men, I would say 90+% of men, could barely have enough control over who they date. Right? They take what they can get. If the girl is not fat, and that even that is negotiable, and wants to have what the bare minimum for most men, and this is what most men settle for. is that she wants to have sex with you. That is what men settles for. Their relationship is a sexual strategy, not a Jessica is a redhead, but um Brittany, she's brunette, and I prefer redhead, so I want to go with Jessica. Very few men, maybe less than 1% of men, are making choices based on that. Why does it seem that way? Because men have egos and we're going to brag to the internet. Yeah, I chose this girl because she's awesome. We want our validation from other men by saying, we're so awesome that we had the option to choose and I chose the right girl. Look how virginic and trad my wife is, which is bullshit. That's not true. That's not what happened and all that. Um, it's the apex fallacy. Number three is just the apex fallacy. Even me, yes, I made a choice to date my girl now, but I didn't have like 10 chicks lined up and I was like, you. I had like three, and one of them was already on the way out. The second one, there was a little bit of dysfunction between us sexually, right? She was very shy in the bedroom, though she was very fun and she was girlfriend material. She's in a relationship right now and she looks happy. Um, you see, like I had a almost like a soft choice, but ultimately she made the choice to be with me, and I just opted in. Right? Apex fallacy. So number three, um, debunked. All right, give me 1 second, guys. All right, so um, where are we? Okay, so number four, emotional altruistic bonds. Human relationships often transcend transactional logic. Love, trust, and altruism can drive long-term partnerships, even when immediate benefits are absent. Briefold's law fails to explain why relationships endure through hardship or why individuals sacrifice for partners without expecting reciprocal gains. Okay, this one is like, hey, well, there's people that have gone like, you get cancer as a man, and she sticks by your side, or other life events which if she left it would make sense, right? And there's two things, especially in today's day and age, that kind of nullify this. First off, and I will concede that love is, there are women that love you and they will stick to you for the end, but that is so rare, and it does not benefit you to believe that or to count on that, right? That it's almost like, even if it can happen, it's not something that you should say, "Hey, see, we would saw," like, dude, it's not a safe thing to believe, right? It's not say it'll screw you over if you truly believe this. And a lot of men do. A lot of men do. And a lot of women think they're like that too. And I'm like, no, you're not. Most likely, if your man had cancer and things got hard, you would leave because Briefold's law, right? You have nothing making you stay there. Now, what are other reasons women would stay in the situation if things got really rough? Number one, clout, right? A lot of women, they built their online brand, whether it be uh, having 2,000 a 2,000 follower account Instagram, right? Or um, uh, a tradcon account or a relationship centric account on Instagram or Twitter. So leaving the guy would hurt her image, right? Again, there is a certain status conferred onto women when they're in relationships, right? That's why women, the Sarah Stock girl, posted her ring and said, "I won." What did she win? A man's affection, commitment? No. What she won was status. Hey, look at me, ladies. I'm higher status than you because I'm married. And that's why all the girls kind of like went at each other, right? And there is some benefit in just the fact of being married to women because it confers her status, especially in this day and age when everything is online and your whole life is online, right? Um, so I'm not saying, and it sounds like I'm almost like bitter, like almost like, oh, like just because love isn't real. I'm like, love is real. I'm just saying that in this day and age, there is a incentive for women to stay with men they're not attracted to, that are dorks and losers, or they're sick, or whatever, that the benefit they were getting goes away for a while. Now, does that mean they're still forever? Hell no. Again, there's always a counter. Corollary number three, there is always a counter, and you better have been damn well awesome before that counter went off, if the benefit leaves, because if not, the less awesome you were in the beginning, the faster she leaves, right? So if I was giving her 2 orgasms a night and she had genuine desire for 2 years, and I was running dread and she thought I was the best thing since sliced bread, and then I break my leg and I can't fuck her the way I used to, and I can't work, and I get a little bit depressed and stuff, she's gonna stick around longer than if I was not those things. So, and that can be misconstrued as love, and undying love is not. No, dude, you did something in the beginning of the relationship that bought you time. That's all it is. It buys you time. You don't have time forever, right? Um, All right, number 5, evolutionary oversimplification. Critics argue that Briefold's law oversimplifies human evolution. While female mate choice is significant in many species, humans have complex social structures, including pair bonding, cooperative parenting, that involve reciprocal investment from both sexes, challenging the idea that females solely dictate relationship terms. All right, so um, humans have complex social structures, including pair bonding, cooperative parenting. Okay, so this is basically saying, hey, men and women, they co-parent. So uh, they, Rufus Law, where you at? I'm like, well, does co-parenting benefit women? Yes, yes. How many stepdads? I got my hair floating here. How many stepdads or dads or stepdads? Yeah, both take care of the kids while the wife is on vacation looking for other men. Is that co-parenting? Is that not beneficial to the women's sexual strategy? Right? If co-parenting in general were beneficial to women, the court system would reflect that. Women would be like, hey, no, can let him have full access to his kids and we'll help each other, right? But if the woman deems that you are no longer necessary in that equation, she will do what she can to get you out of the kid's life and get as much money out of you. Um, it is not an evolutionary simplification. It is simply a very it's like Occam's razor, right? Why do women do this? Because it benefits them. That's it. The shortest, simplest answer is often the right one. And especially with these science types, these intelligentsia, the ivory tower people, right? They want to make everything complicated. But honestly, humans, yes, we are complicated, but most of us, we have a guiding principle to our biology, and it's survival, and that's passing on our genetics to the other. It's simple. Like, we want to survive and we want to pass on our genetics. And if you think about that, yes, we're in a new age. It's 2025. We're not Neanderthals, but we haven't evolved yet past our like Homo sapien, when Homo sapiens first walked the earth. So, um, yeah, and again, uh, reciprocal investment. My investment may not be worth to the girl what I think it's worth, right? So if I take my son to the baseball game and then the next day I take him for ice cream, she may think that's not enough. He didn't change his other son's diapers, or he didn't do this. He didn't give enough money, right? Who gets to decide what's worth, what the investment that you give in is worth? Women, right? And that's when you're in court, they get custody of the child, because at the end of the day, the children belong to her. And why do they belong to her? Because is she has she has participated, and we've in this system, we have ordained that when women are not getting a benefit from a man, it is within our moral duty to help her, to give her power, to give her leverage. And that's why we're in this mess in the first place. All right, contesting number 6, uh, contextual misapplication in online discussions. Briefold's law is often used to frame modern gender dynamics in a way that can exaggerate or distort its original intent. Critics note that applying a principle from early 20th century anthropology to contemporary relationships ignores changing gender roles, economic independence, and individual autonomy. Now, again, This is like one of the guys said, uh, blank slate. It's blank slate equalism. Sorry, uh, for for all of these, right? It's the presupposition that women are just going to play along with us in terms and hold hands and kumbaya and both be happy as we ride off into the sunset. And we know that's not true, because if that were true, I'd be married right now on my third kid, right? Women in my 20s would have been like, "Hey, I'll wait for you just like you would wait for me," and all that stuff. And no, that's not the case, right? Um, Gender roles have changed. Yeah, gender roles have not changed because we just decided to look at each other and we're just like, hey, let's change this up. No, it's technology, right? So if women have birth control, it means like, hey, they're more liberated. If women have credit cards, even more liberated. If women can join the workforce and control the birth now, then boom, that's more power. That's not nothing to do with men deciding, hey, like you deserve. We need to change the gender role. This is old. No, it's just we are adapting to a system given it to us by technology, which kind of opened the door for women to be the way they truly are. Um, so gender roles, economic independence, and individual autonomy, that is all downstream of Briefold's law, not upstream of Briefold's law, downstream. Women do not want to be in relationships with average men. Why? Because it doesn't really benefit them from their perspective. From our male perspective, it does. We're just like, wait, you get free housing, you get this, you get that. There's even the joke that's like, man, I gotta chase a girl just to qualify to give her money. Doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't. However, however, um, from a woman's perspective, again, she doesn't see it that way. She says, I gotta give up sex with someone that I'm not that attracted to. I gotta adhere to his standards, and I gotta do all these things to make him happy. He could still leave me. I could be pregnant and he'd still leave me. So it's best that I don't get with this guy, right? And if I do get with him, I will, and that is why abortion exists, because it is, again, Brief's law. It's like, hey, if having this baby is not what's best for me, I am willing to get rid of it. Women will always think of themselves above their future baby, their husband, everyone. Where there is no benefit, no association will take place. And then the final one, lack of empirical support. There's a limited direct empirical evidence for Briffault's law as a universal principle in humans. Modern studies in evolutionary psychology and sociology emphasize diverse factors of mate choice and relationship dynamics, suggesting that the law is too reductive to fully explain human behavior. And this is the like, hey, shows stats, bro. Show me the stats, bro. Cite your sources. And it's just like, guys, like we all see it. Like, you're gonna believe me or your lying eyes? I'm like, no, I want to believe me because I can see it with my eyes that how women are. Women are not taking me out on dates. Women are not waiting for me to get my life together. Women are not doing anything that doesn't benefit them in some way. I just don't see it. And if they are, it's because it's a very short period of their time where they're either too naive to know that that doesn't benefit them, or they're very truly genuinely desire you. And even that act in general is a way of manifestation of Briefold's law. So yeah. How does this benefit me? Yeah. Occam's razor. How does this benefit me? So the Twitter survey, guys, absolute trash, right? So this whole 20th century threw a wrench into male-woman relationships on a whole. The picturesque 50s households in the US was bad not for reasons people think. Yeah, it's should have scared screen with that. Yeah, sure, I'll share it here. It's Grok. Let me make sure there's nothing open. Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna share. I asked Grok what were common things or arguments against Briefold's law, and then, we went through and we debunked each one of them one by one. So, all right, there you have it, guys. It's a little small, but let me blow this up, and then that should be a little better. But yeah, those are it's mutual benefit in relationships. Again, remember in the beginning I said, yeah, sometimes it may feel like women are on our side, but that's because there is a mutual benefit. It isn't a one-sided thing, right? Women are the vulnerable sex. They have to do things that benefit them first because they know if not they die, and that is carried over to literally every action in society, right? We can have all the technology in the world, but women will still always be women. So, you know, and there you go. All right, guys, give me 1 second. Let's take a break, and then we'll go to the practical version of the show. I'll be back. All right, so yeah, guys, those are the things I got from Grok. I mean, so mutual benefit in a relationship, human cultural and social influences, male agency and selection, emotional altruistic bonds, um, evolutionary oversimplification, contextual misapplication, and lack of empirical support. Essentially, all this can be summarized in all men should agree on what is important to them, which is love. And I'm like, all men are the ones that assign value of things in their own life, not anyone else. If love is important to you, then it is. If you just, hey, I just need a girl to be hot and I want sexy women to fuck, then that also is for you to decide and you to apply value to, right? And the arguments against Brieffoot's law kind of, you know, don't kind of like forget that each man gets to decide for himself what he desires in a relationship. Another thing that in these paragraphs that is that it's the hey, we're in a new age now. Women and men are the same. It's the blank slate equalism. It's painted in these paragraphs pretty, it's pretty obvious. So you see this and you're like, okay, um all women and men are the same, right? And then men actually believe that. But who does it benefit when men and women are the same? And you may think, oh, both of us, because now I'm absolved of my male burden of performance, and she is absolved of the shitty parts of being a woman. But look a little closer, guys. I still have to pay for dates. Police is going to believe her over me if there's an altercation, right? She still is not uh doing the things I have to do to get laid. So in these paragraphs, when you hear the word blanks, egalitarian equalism or men get stuff out of what they're trying to fool you, right, or fool themselves. The people, the Reddit articles that this was get aggregated from is essentially that this equalism stuff benefits you, dude, as a man. I swear it does. Look, dude, like you don't have to work as hard. Women like when we open up. Women like when women are, if we make the same amount of money and she makes more, we're in a new age, bro. And then the guys that have to pay for this are us normal men, right? Because we go out there, we believe this shit, and boom. And fooling us into thinking egalitarian equalism or blank slate equalism works and you're going to get laid is downstream of Briefold's law, aka feminism. And that's what feminism is. Feminism is a manifestation of Briefold's law. Always. Feminism, that's why feminism is not a movement, it's not an ideology, it is simply a strategy. It is Briefold's law applied to men in the modern age. And it works. It works remarkably well to the point We're now forgiving modern day Jezebels and making them leaders of the church. Is there anything else we can do for women in terms of feminism? No, but they can never tell us that, because then we would stop providing the benefit. So they have to continue to tell us, hey, men, you're bad. Be better. Be better. We're like, okay, cool. We're make better. You're president of a country now. What else do you want? We want more women to be judges. Okay, we'll lower the, we'll pay them to be we'll pay them to go to school, whatever. And it just never ends, over and over again. But anyways, that's essentially all those things in a nutshell, right? All right. So how do we personally, guys, us as men, how do we use Briefold's law to our advantage? Well, how about we do this? Within reason, how about we take Briefold's law, aka, excuse me, aka feminism or female sexual strategy, and apply it to ourselves, use it ourselves, and then, adapt it to our male sensibilities. How about that? So think about this. Let's change genders. Female, not the male, determines all the conditions of the animal family. Okay, so in order for you to determine whether a girl is in your life or not, right? Whether you associate with a girl, how about we let her prove yourself to you, right? Again, relationship is her problem. That's Briefold's law applied to men for us to use. We use our own little version of Briefold's law. And you know what we call our version of Briefold's law? The red pill, right? And that's why a lot of women call us like male feminists, or the red pill is the male version of feminism, is because we're using the same strategy. However, theirs is codified into law and built into our base genetics. Red pill you have to, in order to adopt it, you need to work through against your genetics. And sometimes you need to be so quiet about it because it goes against the law. Like, not like breaking the law, but like what the law dictates or what the law is supposed to make you feel like you should treat women, right? So if you want to decide your association with women, right, you're gonna have to get attractive, you have to learn a little bit of game, whatever you got to do, right? We have talked at length and hundreds of other videos about that, but you have to have something in order, mainly game, in order to get a girl to kind of want to fight to be in your life, right? And even then, there's no guarantee. So instead of worrying or worrying about what type of association you have with a woman, let her worry about it, right? Let her worry about it. It's not your problem. Right? Now that it's not your problem, you don't see it as you trying to qualify to women, right? You see it as, you remember I said earlier, the decision, let her make the decision to be in your life, whether it be for one night or for the rest of your life. Let her make that decision. It's up to her because she is the one wielding this, right? Um, Corollaries, past benefits provided by male do not provide continued virtue association. Okay, how do we apply this as men? Well, just because she gave you a blowjob on Sunday, or just because she gave you a massage or cook for you or something, does not mean that she gets to buy new curtains or do whatever she wants all the time, right? Just because she was hot when she was 20 doesn't mean she can let herself go when she's 30, right? Yes, men fall in love. Yes, we have wife goggles, right? But just because she had one of your kids doesn't mean she gets to disrespect you or stop having sex with you. A lot of men think like this. No, apply Briefold's law to the women in your life. And even for casual encounters, hey, you gave me sex, but that doesn't mean next time you give me sex, I have to drive an hour and you make it almost impossible for me to see you because you want me to jump through hoops. No, like no, I don't see any benefit. It's just sex. Great. Thanks for the sex last time. But if you want to continue having sex with me, you have to make it easy for me within reason. So yeah. Yeah. And they're gonna use shaming tactics if we use it. Right. Um, give me 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. I was putting some chicken down. But guys, we have 1,000 viewers right now. We have 1,000 on X and 30 on YouTube. So appreciate you guys watching and all that stuff. So if you guys would like to leave a super chat or ask any questions, let me know. But anyways, guys, so we talked about corollary number one of Briefold's law: past benefits provided by the male do not provide for continued or future association. So same thing with women, right? Just because you had sex with me once does not mean I'm going to buy you dinner, or does not mean that I'm going to be loyal to you, right? The relationship is her problem, meaning that, hey, I am looking for my benefit as I see fit, right? If I need more from you, then within reason, obviously temper that to reason and rationality and kind of the context. But for the most part, you are allowed to think, what do I get out of this, right? And that's why we say the most important thing in our relationship isn't whether what she is, right? Because you're basically handing over her sexual strategy and saying you win. Instead, it's, are you having fun, right? And yes, if you don't hit like, guys, then you are not beneficial in this relationship. Thanks, Shaq. So essentially, yeah, you're allowed to think and see if you derive a benefit from even if it's just a sexual relationship, even if it's the mother of your kids or the love of your life, right? Corollary number two. You know what? I'm gonna bring this up on screen. 1 second. Blow this up. All right. All right. So corollary number two. Any agreement where the male provides a current benefit in return for a promise of future association is null and void as soon as the male has provided the benefit, right? So, trying to think how this would apply from the male perspective. So, if a female provides a current benefit, and in return, a promise of future association is null and void as soon as the male has provided the benefit, right? So, if let's say the benefit would be a woman wants commitment, she's giving you commitment, right? And um the benefit is that you stay committed back to her, right? Like, hey, I give you loyalty, therefore you give me loyalty, right? Um and you may think, well, isn't that what men want? Like loyalty? Well, guess what? Your loyalty and my loyalty are two different things, and just because you're giving me loyalty does not mean I owe it back to you, right? And this is the whole righteous thing that Chateau Ortiz talks about. You have to be completely 100% not being shamed into anything a woman does, right? You have to be the one to decide, I want this. You don't do it, okay, a woman did this for me, so I got to be a good man and be. Obviously, we have consciences, we have an internal moral system. There is going to be points in your life where you're going to be like, if a girl does something nice for me, I should probably do something nice for her, right? You're going to feel that way. However, you're not forced to do it. And also, there's going to be women more often than not that do things for you that you think, oh, she did this for me, now I owe her something, and that's not true, right? That is not true. So, yeah. Um, all right. And then the final one is a promise of future benefit has limited influence on current future association, with the influence inversely proportionate to the length of time until the benefit will be given, and directly proportionate to the degree to which the female trusts the male. So, again, let's say your wife or girlfriend gave you crazy monkey sex when you first met. So in your mind, you're like, I need to fix this because if I fix this relationship, or if I do nice things for this woman, she will give me crazy monkey sex again. But here's a problem with that, right? You also have a counter, meaning that, hey, there are things that women do for you that if they stop doing, right, that benefit you, you have to have a counter in your head, right? This is the most popular one of this is the fat, is girl being fat. Like, hey, hey babe, like I understand you had a kid, or hey, I understand we went through this, or we kind of let ourselves go, but hey, if you let yourself go anymore or any longer, you don't put any effort, then I'm gone, right? And that is corollary number 3. That is the most popular, if not the most complained about example in relationships, right? Just to give you guys an example. But yeah. And I know Johann Schultz that yes, their concept is not wrong, but it's divorced from the typical male concept, understanding the same things. Yes. And yes, but for the most part, in these situations, when you're dealing with women, do not bring male concepts of morality, love, anything, right? Stoop to their level because it works. And I know as men, we don't like stooping to the enemy's level or to our opponent's level, but you have to stoop to their level because if you do, right, you're playing fire with fire, and um you cannot what's the word, man? Out beta a woman, right? To see if she'll act right. The only way to fight a selfish person is to be equally selfish. I know that sounds like a therapy thing, but trust me, if you're dealing with a selfish person, the only way to deal with them is a selfish person. So, in conclusion, right, you're not a woman. You're different. Women have a biological reality where they have to be solipsistic, selfish, and watch out for themselves. They have to look at everything they do for others and be like, how do I benefit from this? They don't have our strength. They don't have our spatial awareness or our logic or reasoning. They simply are different. So they had to have this Briefold's law thing in their head to survive. It's the modern age. We haven't evolved past this yet. It's probably going to be like a couple 100,000 years before we do. So until then, we have to make do. Now, we as men, we've been hijacked. We have our genetics that tell us women are these defenseless creatures, and we have to keep them safe and worship them at all costs because they hold the key to the future of the species. So what we see around, it's never been safer and easier to be alive. So right now we think, okay, now that we have all these facts in place, how do I win? And the way you win is applying Briefold's law to yourself as a man and thinking, stop thinking in terms of what the woman gets out of this. Think, what do I get out of this? Right? If all that matters in any relationship with a woman is, am I having a good time? And the times that I'm not, are they very rare and far in between? Because, obviously no relationship's perfect. And when you live by that, even though it's hard because you have a genetic predisposal to like remember like she looks so beautiful on my wedding night. How could I leave this woman that put on 40 pounds and is a little bit meaner and nastier to me? But I just remember her. Like, we have that built in our DNA. To overcome that is difficult. Right? We have the wife goggles. We have our honor system. We get societal pressure too because we don't want to let down our mom, their dad. We have so many things telling us to just go along with Briefold's law, woman's side, and not be selfish ourselves. But if you want to be happy with women in general, you have to get over that. You have to be selfish, become your own mental point of origin, and you'll see over time that, hey, women are the greatest teachers. There's a reason we say women are frame masters and men are frame children. They taught us how to deal with them, just not in the way they think. So, um, yeah, this is how zeroing out happens. Being your own mental point of origin protects you, but doesn't prevent you from experiencing it. Right. You can be completely red pill, understand everything, and have life, do well at life, and you can still get zeroed out. It happens. You can get an injury, God forbid. You can get broken up with. Like things happen. However, it's better to go in with this knowledge and pull yourself out faster than to be absolutely clueless and have one of the darkest life defining moments of your life that maybe you come out of so different that you can barely talk to women, right? As I've seen with some of my friends over the years. So these are just tools. They're not meant to blackpill you. They're meant to keep you safe. to keep you focused and get back on the saddle faster. So, yeah. Anyways, guys, I appreciate the super chats and everything. If you guys have any questions, ask them now. If not, I'll end the stream. It looks like you guys like the red pill deep dive stuff, so I'll be doing it more often. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'm going to be away on a trip this week, and I won't be able to do much streaming. I'm going to be like working at night, plus I'm going to probably be sleeping and recovering during the day. So not a lot of opportunities for me to stream or anything like that. So, however, I'll probably be doing Twitter Spaces, doing if I'm around, if I'm awake, if I'm sentient, conscious or whatever, because I'll be sleeping a lot. But yeah, after this week's done, I'm back on the grind and all that stuff. So yeah, taught him with the $5. You get one of these, sir.
Thank you so much, best friend!
Taught him 7 for the $5. Nuke, do you mind on expanding on the concept of female hyper agency? Yes, just give me one moment. All right, female hyper agency essentially it's just something I say. Maybe it sounds catchy. I don't mean it to be a concept, so to speak. It's just an observation. And the observation is that women have hyper agency, whereas men have agency, meaning that hyper agency to women is that since they have so much ability and laws to protect them, and they have Instagram and they have the ability to build a brand much easier online than men, men naturally believe them more if they do something stupid, and it's a man's word versus theirs. And also because of how many starving, thirsty men there are on the internet, a lot of women will be able to do things and get away with things more than us, especially if she's even slightly attractive, right? I don't have to give you guys um I don't have to give you guys examples because you probably have examples in your own life and all that stuff. Yes, have there been moments where yes, a woman has gotten scot-free? Yeah, but now it's to the point where it's almost like you're being gaslit into thinking, how in the hell did she get away with this, right? You'll see celebrity divorces. Like an example of female hyper agency is Kim Kardashian requiring um 200K of child support from Kanye, one of the richest women on earth, requiring another equally rich person money to raise kids. And no one questioned it. There was no like, hey, why would you need this money? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. And this is why I say it's women's job to protect us now. Now, this doesn't mean like some random woman on the street, like, hey, you got to protect me. I'm a man. No, I'm saying like the women in your life, your mother, your sister, um, your girlfriend, your wife, your daughters, if you have children, right? They have more power, social power, or soft power, whatever you call it, than you can ever dream of. So they have to keep you safe because their actions affect you. Like, for example, everyone was like, oh, Nala, the Nala Fit chick that everyone talked about for like 3 months. She's she's forgiven in the eyes of God. Blah blah blah. Everyone was like so excited. But the thing is, true forgiveness, yes, the God thing. But if she really cared about her image, which she does, because she is an influencer still first before she is a Christian, would have been apologizing to her parents, because through her hyper agency, her ability to do gangbangs on camera and then turn around and be a woman of God and preach the gospel, right? She hurt people. in her life. She hurt people. It doesn't matter how bad your parents were, how you think they were, going to do a gangbang and like even if we search her name today, there's gonna be nothing but pornography, right? It is simply gonna hurt people if you do these things. So that's female hyperagency. You have so much power that you don't even know that you're hurting people because it's just so much, right? And you'll have to explain it to your girlfriend. You'll have to explain it to other women in your life. Like, hey, don't do this. Why? Because this could happen to me, right? It could hurt me. Women are you are in charge of protecting me. If I even lay a finger on you, I never would. It would be I would be thrown in jail within days. Like it would be over. Like you will be okay. However, if you do anything against me, I'm in trouble. I don't have the legal protections that you do. I don't have the backing, the automatic backing that you do. Um, Men don't care about other men. Men care about women. So in general, you have the power here. So make sure you have that conversation with the woman in your life. So yeah. Todd M with another $5. Here you go, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, best friend!
Second question, or Todd M with the $5. Second question, in Red Ocean, is it worth shooting your shot at a girl you likely won't see again, or is it just too saturated? Well, it depends on the context. Red Ocean is a very broad term. It just means where the competition's fierce, and it's like even if you decided to operate in a red ocean, it'll be diminishing returns because the competition only gets fiercer, and you end up wearing yourself out, becoming bitter and angry, and thinking that something's wrong with you. Blah blah. Got it. However, like if it's Instagram, sure, but like the biggest red ocean, the most common red ocean is dating apps and Instagram, right? Because you're competing against the world essentially. For dating apps and Instagram, I would say it is like, what do you have to lose? It's just a message. You won't even feel the rejection. However, if it's been a while and she hasn't responded to the DM, go ahead and delete the DM. Instagram lets you delete the DM, and Tinder lets you delete the match or whatever dating app, right? That is risky. She can use that against you one day if you ever if she ever sees you, she can screenshot it and put you on a page, whatever. It's best to just pretend nothing ever happened. So, also in red oceans, there's going to be a lot of competition, meaning that guys will be watching their territory, right? If you go to a dance class and you start talking to a girl that the dance instructor is into or has slept with or is sleeping with, there's going to be a lot of competition. Therefore, men will protect the women, and that's for them. They will make art, right? Even if they've never even slept with the woman. I've seen it happen over and over again. So the difference between blue ocean and red ocean is red ocean you have to be very careful because it's not the women. The women are, women rejecting you because there's a lot of other options for her. Whatever. Cool. It's the danger from other men. The men will be the one the men will be the ones kind of like you have to watch out for because they're desperate. It's not a lot of women. There's not a lot of options. There's not women like you're not going out. You're not getting a woman every day or every other day in this red ocean, right? It's like once in a while. So if a man gets an opportunity with a woman, he protects it with his life. And on Instagram, um, it's more of like getting tracked. Like, hey, you don't want a woman to know. You don't want a woman that record of you shooting your shot. Delete it. It's not worth it. There's no honor in that there. So yeah, great question though. I appreciate it, Todd. So yeah. Yeah, they're gonna use a they're gonna use this language to kind of like make us feel like we're the bad people here, but like, no, it's just, so I really if you search for it, like, hey, protection or protect in my videos, you'll find it. And I talk about hyper agency and how like women have an incredible amount of power and you have to be careful. Don't ever think that, oh, men are strong, therefore we should be the ones protecting them. I'm like, no, we have the police now. So um I don't know that it's all that wise to empower your lady telling her she has all the power. What's wrong with it? And when I say all the power, I mean like, no, you're not going to tell me what to do. Um, you're not going to. It's nothing to do. It's not power over you, dude. It's power over. It's she can do things even if she doesn't mean it to hurt you, it can hurt you, right? It's not about power. It's about like, hey, she has the power to ruin your life because of the power that was bestowed on her by the powers that be. It doesn't mean like, oh, you're powerful, so I'm gonna do the dishes whenever you say. No, it means, hey, don't post that or don't talk about that or don't say this because I am the next in line, and that's hard for a lot of women. Um, that's hard for a lot of women to deal with. So yeah. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate your guys' questions. I have a long trip tomorrow, so I gotta prepare. But we got about 1,400 people watching. 31 on YouTube and 1,350 on what do you call it on Twitter. I want to put my what do you call it, man? I'm it's just late. Sometimes my brain stops braining around this time on a Sunday night, so I'll put my Substack in the chat, all that stuff. Great stream, dude. Gotta rewatch. Yeah, man. Please, this is one of those. It's a well-structured show because it's very empirical. It's very empirical knowledge and all that stuff. Dating knowledge seems to be very like play it by ear, and this is what I've observed. But this is set in stone for us red pill guys. Like this is the guiding principle behind a lot of what we talk about. Um, and yeah, it's worth watching. There's other content creators. I'm sure Jack has a video on Briefold's Law. Cappy may have one. Rolo probably definitely has one. Ryan probably has one. You guys are welcome to watch their stuff. They're more developed content creators. I am still finding my stride here, but for the most part, guys, it's something worth learning, and it's something before you either jump to conclusions or get mad or get like worked up about a woman. You know, think, hey, is look at it through the lens of the red pill, aka Briefold's Law, and see, oh, it makes sense that she would do this. Or why is she doing this? It's because it benefits her in some way. There's an ulterior motive, and it isn't, I worry about men or something like that, right? So, for the most part, guys, uh, what can I say? You you do the best you can. There is no perfect answer. And obviously, people will argue, like nitpick the little things. But what about this situation and love and companion? I'm like, dude, it's not meant to be taken literally. The red pill isn't some kind of doctrine that if you deviate from it, your life's gonna go in shambles. It is simply a lens to which you see the world. Because you go against the lens doesn't mean you're gonna die. It just means, hey, take it seriously, not literally. There's a reason we talk about this, and it isn't because we just like to hear ourselves talk, even though I love hearing myself talk, right? It is simply think, why are we harping on this? Why is this so important? Are you above this? Probably not, because you are a human. So yeah, like Totem says, just a toolkit. Nothing more, nothing less. It's just tools. If you want to use a tool, cool. You can use a hammer. You can use a screwdriver to hammer a nail, but a hammer would be better. However, no one's stopping you from using the other end of a screwdriver to nail something in, even though it looks silly. But it's up to you. Um, but yeah. So yeah, Substack. I just released Article 93 yesterday. I will see how I feel Tuesday or Monday or Tuesday. If I feel not exhausted enough to write, I will release another one. But don't hold your breath too much. If not, I will release it this weekend. Sorry, it's slow. It's just work has been super busy, and I've had personal things to deal with and all that stuff. So Yeah. What else? Um, that's about it, guys. Thank you for everything, and I'll see you next time. Um,